Hey guys, it's Dev! Come with me as I make the second episode of my Webtoon series as I go through college. My commute to school is usually around 1 to 2 hours depending on the traffic, so during those hours I tend to either study or sketch, but it depends on how full the bus gets to. I got lucky today as it was relatively empty from my commute to and from school, so I got to sketch. Not only that, but I got to film me sketching. So if you were ever curious on how I get to draw in a moving bus, here it is! A few days ago, I finally got to launch the first episode of my Webtoon series, and I was pleasantly surprised with how it performed on the first few days of launch. But it wasn't a smooth ride. I'm not gonna lie. Waking up to just 6 subscribers, 2 of which being my friends, and 32 views was surprising. I had a feeling akin to disappointment, but more so on the confused side rather than the devastated side. I thought I had advertised it enough and that the art was great, or at least above average, to garner more views than, well, what I initially had. And I couldn't help asking myself this question. Where did I go wrong? I took a bath to clear my head and think. And quite frankly, whilst I was inside the bathroom, feeling the water go through my skin, I only had one thought in my mind, and that was, man, is this really for me? I know, it sucks to be discouraged, especially when I literally just started, but it's inevitable. I'm human, and art is an extension of who I am, meaning my art being rejected feels like I'm being rejected, which was something I talked about in my previous video. But rest assured, it was a fleeting feeling, and the moment I stepped outside of the bathroom, I already felt like everything was fine again. But obviously, it could be better. While I was on the brink of being discouraged, I opened my group chat with my friends, and my god, that completely changed everything. I saw how much they enjoyed reading it, and they were so quick with making the memes for it too. Like, look at this picture of Kiel over here. And so I grabbed the newfound courage to check my other socials and saw one comment. And that one comment completely changed my mood for the rest of the day. They said, and I quote, "Hey, it was a fun read. I laughed out loud when he got barfed on. I know you put a lot of effort into promoting it with YouTube, drawing it. The panels are so rendered, I hope you won't burn out on that." And guys, I cannot explain to you the euphoria I felt reading that. I completely underestimated the effects these comments would have on me. Dare I say, it felt better than any viral posts I've had under my belt. It made me so happy to read people talking about how much fun they had reading it. It's one thing when people say that they like your art or that it's good, but it's a completely different story when they find your jokes funny and actually laugh at it. You can't believe how hard it was to portray jokes in a way that would be funny through still images, such as a comic. So yeah, this was one of the big pushes that I needed that day to figure out the following steps to take to get more eyes on my webtoon. The first thing I realized was that I didn't even post in the bigger subreddits where readers, actual readers, mostly gathered to talk about their favorite webtoons and their genres that they're reading currently. And so I did that, and not only did I receive a lot of views, but also really uplifting comments. Most importantly, detailed feedback. They said that they really liked the cover, and one of them stated that I should replace the current cover to this one, as they said that they would have never read it if it weren't for seeing this cover. And so I did just that, and I can't quite figure out if that helped, but the numbers kept growing, so maybe it did. Who knows? Ta-da-da-da! I've arrived at school, and will now be attending my classes. I started writing the comic script for my second episode before the first class started. I was feeling a bit of the pressure then because of the overwhelmingly positive feedback I've received from the first episode and how they couldn't wait to read more. So now I have to focus on making sure that this new episode won't disappoint the subscribers. That was about it for the first half of the day because we had lectures going on. But I got to draw in the second class as it was about storyboarding for film. I took this as an opportunity to sketch out some scenes for the new episode. I had pinpointed my struggles from doing the first episode and wanted to improve on them for a smoother ride, and that includes making the storyboards. I want to be able to capture the essence of this scene better just from the storyboard alone. And so I started researching more about storyboarding, watching videos, reading books. I recently read one of Framed Inks, and it was great. I'm trying to better how I capture these dynamic scenarios in just a few quick sketches so that I could apply them to my comic. A lot of people commented about how they liked the pacing in my first chapter, so now I kind of want to focus more with playing with a bit more dynamic facial expression and camera angles. So since the second episode is going to be introducing more of the characters in the series, that means I'll have more dolls to play with in the scenes. Yay! The next episode is going to be way different from the first. The joke here is going to heavily rely more on dialogue and the characters' personalities, so that will be the next challenging thing I'll have to figure out for this next mountain. I can't wait for you guys to meet the new cast. Somebody commented about how it seems like the girl is secondary as of where the story is right now, but I wanted to have a different angle in my series and make it so that the supporting characters aren't just there to make the main protagonist shine. I want you guys to care about them too. So there will be times that they'll have the spotlight, and I think that's okay. Because at the end of the day, this is about how Shize is going to integrate into her new environment, and what better way to do that than by showing you guys the contrast between both worlds. I will be finishing the rest of the comic script at home, and hopefully if I do, I get to start on the storyboarding in the next few days. This will get the ball rolling for the second episode. I was aiming for a bi-weekly release, but I'm not sure about how viable that is because of 1, my art style, 2, college, and 3, I also do commissions and other art-related work outside of this. But I will try! I can guarantee you one thing though, and that will be a monthly release. So every month there will be at least one new episode. And that's about it. Thank you to anyone who stuck around. And make sure to check out and follow me on my socials so you'd get updates about the episodes. And of course, don't forget to read my webtoon, which will be linked down below. I hope you're all having a lovely day, and I'll be seeing you in the next videos. Bye!